The text messaging part of Grower's Edge is very handy because every day I'll receive a text that shows me where the best local market is.
That's what I like about Grower's Edge too. It gives me the information I want on my smartphone so that if I'm not in the office, I still get the information that I need.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. It's March 25th, 2014. I'm Logan Burgess. To my right here is Cody Bills to help break down a mixed trade in Chicago on a Tuesday. Jumping into the quotes here, you can see corn was off 3.5 cents. Soybeans, the only grain closing in positive territory, up 2.5 cents on the May contract. Chicago wheat off 6 1/4. Kansas City wheat down 2 3/4. Relatively quiet trade in today's action for corn and soybeans. One market, though, we want to focus on here early in the show is the wheat market. We saw a lot of strength yesterday out of wheat, and then yesterday after the close, we actually got a slight downgrade to crop conditions. A little bit surprising here that we see a lower close on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. But one of the things that we got to keep in mind here is that we continue to see strong strength out of wheat in the price action. We are very close to the highs that we've seen in the last couple months. So I wouldn't necessarily think that this is bearish. I think it's kind of interesting. We went into that crop conditions report, we rallied, and then we get the numbers, we kind of come off. When you look at that crop conditions report, you do notice that Kansas, good to excellent, down 1%. We saw the same in Oklahoma. Texas saw good to excellent, down 2%, with the poor to very poor increasing to 55%, up 3% from the previous week. Now then we really need to look at the weather going forward, and I think when we look at the weather, we are seeing a little bit of precipitation on Wednesday and then Wednesday of next week as well. I think that may have eased a little bit of tension here in the market, but all in all, that precipitation is mostly going to be on the eastern parts of the plains here, eastern part of Kansas and Oklahoma, leaving the driest areas, the areas that need it the most, still with a lot of need for moisture going into it. Another thing that I think possibly we'll be experiencing as we move closer toward the end of next week or the end of this week is the fact that we are going into the planting intentions report. And with that being said, we have seen significant rally in the wheat market. We may see some of that come off the table as people reduce risk.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising, Cody, just based on the market expectations here. Today we did get the Reuters poll of the analysts here. 4 of those planted acreage numbers we'll be getting next Monday from the USDA. Take a look here at this slide. The first column shows planted acreage in 2013-14. The right column shows the average analyst guess for acreage on Monday from the USDA. And as we've talked about it here quite a bit on GrainTV, in general, analysts are looking for a sizable downgrade to corn acres, and as a result, larger acreage getting put into soybeans and wheat. As you mentioned, Cody, here, spring wheat looks to be one beneficiary of slightly lower corn acres, up about 5%. But the big number to keep an eye on here in Monday's report, I believe, is the soybean acreage number. On average, analysts are looking for 5 to 6% larger soybean acres put in the ground here this spring, and that's really a result of the price action that we've seen over the last year between that new crop soybean and new crop corn contract. Take a look here at this spread chart showing that ratio. You can see on the right axis, this is the ratio of that November soybean contract and the December corn contract. In general, when this price ratio is above around 2.4, people view that as being supportive of soybean planting. And you can see here that really when a lot of these acreage decisions were made, the ratio was well above that, even approaching 3 here on the vertical axis. So for that reason, there are price incentives for more soybean acres. Additionally, when we look at soil temperatures right now, a lot of analysts are looking for a very delayed corn planting pace here this year. That tends to push some acres into soybeans as well. So this year, from talking to producers and from speaking to analysts, it looks like a lot of producers are going to be using this year as a year to return to a more normal crop rotation. After a number of years of corn-on-corn planting, that was a focus last year during harvest, was yield drag. So as I said, it really seems like right now things are in place for a large soybean acreage number from the USDA next Monday.
Well, with that being said, you know, if we do get that sort of a large number reported in the prospective plantings report, what sort of strategies do you have for producers? What would you suggest to kind of protect yourself from the possibility of downside?
Yeah, well, you know, if we look at the soybean market here on the November contract, really over the last several months, we've rallied quite a bit off the lows that we saw in January, picking up about $1. So, you know, with that in mind and coming into a USDA report where expectations are for 5% larger acreage for soybeans, I would want to have some downside protection in place. This would be a good time to use a put strategy, because with the put, you're not capping the upside in the soybean market. As we know right now with old crop beans, ending stocks remain very tight, so we need another large soybean crop here. For that reason, I wouldn't want to necessarily limit the upside, but a put is a good way to participate in the upside but have some insurance in the event that we get you know, an acreage number in line with trade expectations or a surprise to the upside from the USDA.
Yeah, that sounds fair enough. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. And if you have any questions, make sure you give us a call at 877-472-4607. And remember, you can take a demo of the mobile trading platform at grainhedge.com. There's a little ticket in the upper left-hand corner where you can put your name, phone number, and email address, and you can actually see those live quotes on your phone. Thanks a lot for tuning in.